This video is to help us review multiple step problems with decimal operations. So we are going to take a look at a couple problems and work on strategies to help us with story problems and then be able to solve. So the first thing we always need to do is this is for after we read the problem. So we're going to read the problem. David makes loaves of bread using wheat flour and corn flour. He uses 64/100 kilogram of wheat flour to make 2 loaves of bread. If he uses a combined total of 1 and 60/100 kilograms of flour to make 2 loaves, how much corn flour is used in each loaf? So, as always, when we read story problems, we might need to highlight some important things. So, I can see that this is going to be important. And he's also using 64/100 kilograms to make 2 loaves. And a combined total is going to be important because that tells me how much total flour he uses. But my question's asking me how much corn flour is used in each loaf. So these are my important pieces that I know I'm going to need at some point in time throughout my problem. So when I have a lot of detailed information, I like to make an equation with words first. So this is what I know. I know that I use wheat and corn flour. So I know that wheat plus corn have to equal the combined total. So that's one thing I know. Now that I have this, I can start substituting numbers in. So, for instance, do I know something about wheat? I do. I know 64/100. Do I know how much corn flour? No, because that's what my question's asking me. How much corn flour is used in each loaf? So I can represent that with a variable of x. And I know that my combined total is 1.6. So now I solve this equation. How do I solve this equation? Well, we actually just did that the other day. So to solve my equation, I need to know 64/100 plus what number equals 1.6. So how am I going to solve that? I'm going to subtract. Add a 0 in, and now I subtract. Follow my rules of borrowing, so I'm going to end up with 6. Can't do 5 minus 6, so I have to borrow again. 15 minus 6 is 9, so I end up with 96/100. Now I need to know, what is this 96/100 really telling me? Well, I know that I use 0.64 to make 2 loaves, and my combined total for 2 loaves is 1.6. So I need 0.96. We're solving for x. So this is for, sorry, let me erase that. This is a label, would be kilograms. This is x is our corn. So we found we need 0.96 kilograms of corn flour for how many loaves? You got it, for 2 loaves. Does this answer my question though? We want to know, my question's asking how much corn flour is used in each loaf. So this is for 2 loaves. So now I need to know for 1 loaf. So my next step is I'm going to divide 0.96 divided by 2. Now I just follow my rules of division. 2 goes into 8 4 times. Subtract 8. 2 goes into 16 8 times. So my final answer is 4,800 kilograms of corn flour. So remember, this is a multiple step problem. So we really had about 4 steps that we went through here. Well, I added in this first step. This helps. Why do I do this part right here? This helps me organize my thoughts. Once my thoughts are organized, I substitute numbers in, and I know how to subtract decimals, and I know how to divide decimals. So then I'm good to go. Let's look at another example. All right, this example is about Salma, who bought 5 CDs that were each the same price. Including sales tax, she paid a total of $74.50. Each CD had a tax of $1.10. What was the price of each CD before tax? So let's take a look at a receipt real fast. So a receipt, I have a subtotal. That's how much money did I pay for my CDs. So straight up, I paid that much money for my CDs. Then I have a tax that I have to pay. Tax helps the government with things. So like when we have potholes, it pays for potholes and different things that we have that the government pays for. So I have to add my subtotal and my total and my tax together to get my grand total. So that's what tax means. So let's again start our story problem process. 5 CDs that were the same price. That's going to be important. Sales tax. I paid that total. Each CD had a tax of $1.10. What was the price of each CD before tax? So this is what I'm going to do. I know my total. So I know that I paid $74.50. How many CDs did I buy? 5. So this is the first step I'm going to do, is figure out the price of one CD. So now this is just a division problem. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my decimal point straight up. 5 goes into 7 one time. I subtract. Bring my 4 down. 5 goes into 24 4 times. Bring down my 5. 5 goes into 45 9 times. 5 goes into 0 0 times. So I have $14.90. Again, what does this $14.90 tell me? Well, including sales tax, I paid $74.50. So $14.90 is with tax. But I want to know how much each CD was before tax. So now I need to subtract whatever the tax was. How much was the tax? Each CD had a tax of $1.10. So now I subtract $1.10. I get $13.80. So each CD, my final answer is, before tax, each CD was $13.80. Let's take a look at one more problem. This time Tony bought 3 CDs that were each the same price. Including sales tax, he paid a total of $45.90. Of that total, $3.60 was tax. What was the price of each CD before tax? So this one we're going to tackle a little bit differently. My important pieces are $45.90. I bought 3 CDs. $3.60 was tax. So this time I'm going to need to take off the tax. So I know that my total was, this is my total. And I know my tax. So my tax was $3.60. So I'm going to subtract these numbers. So $42.30. What does that number tell me? What does this tell me? This tells me the price of 3 CDs before tax. Why do I want to know before tax? Because that's what my question's asking me. My question's asking me before tax. But again, I want to know what was the price of each CD. So this is the price of 3 CDs. So what's my next step that I need to do? Well, if you said divide, give yourself a pat on the back. we're going to divide by 3. So now I'm just doing a division problem. Put my decimal point in there. 3 goes into 3 one time. Bring down my extra 0. 3 goes into 0 0 times. So how much does each CD cost before tax? $14.10. We could use a calculator to check our work real fast. So if I was using a calculator to check my work, I would do this. I would say I bought 3 CDs before tax that cost $14.10. So I'm going to multiply that by 3. I know that tax was $3.60, so I'm going to add $3.60, and I end up with the amount that I paid, $45.90. These are 3 review problems that we hope help you be able to answer multi-step story problems. See you later.